My full story of how I bulked up 18 kilos or 40 pounds. So back in 2020, during the COVID-19 lockdown, I was binge watching fitness content, right? And I was looking into the idea of bulking. And I was shocked by the idea that you can modify your body how you want. Like you can change your stats how you want just by eating more of the food you already have. I was really excited by this because I never really deliberately changed my body. Like I was normally a skinny kid, and in 2018 I got a bit chubby, but I always looked around the same, right? So in 2020, the idea was planted in my head that you could change your body how you want just by eating differently. But I didn't act on it since I was pretty young. Anyway, moving to 2021, during the second lockdown, I finally acted on it. And here, I moved from 51 to 56 kg in 5 months. So I wasn't exactly massive. I wasn't a hunk, right? But I was pretty young, so I thought bulking was just drinking 3 cups of milk before bed and having a cup of nuts because they were the most calorie dense food. I still remember that 1 cup is 800 calories, and I thought I found the cheat code to bulking. But naturally, I'm not a big eater. I can eat a lot in certain occasions, but day to day, I don't want to feel full or stuffy. So this approach of drinking 3 cups of milk before bed and lying down to sleep didn't work. Also, one more thing is I'd eat my mum's brown food, but you can't just search up how many calories on Google, how many calories are in a bowl of biryani or salad or paneer or whatever, like, because you don't know how much meat or rice or whatever is in your actual bowl. So I tried counting my calories to bulk, but I gave up at dinner time because I can't count brown food. So it wasn't obviously accurate. But doing that made me know how many calories are in foods that I ate like throughout the day, how many calories are my breakfast and lunch, like regular foods I eat on a regular basis like that, like bread, eggs, cheese. So now guesstimating my calories is pretty easy for me now. After this, I took a break for a bit from the eating thing. I was still working out pretty regularly, but I took a break from the bulking. And then the thing that happens with a lot of skinny guys is your default is a calorie deficit as a ectomorph, as a skinny guy. So if you don't worry about what you're doing, if you just sit inside and just play PlayStation the whole day, your default as a skinny guy is losing weight, whereas an endomorph or naturally like fat, naturally like heavy guy, his default is gaining weight if he does the same thing. So our default is as skinny people, if you're skinny, our default is to just lose weight with you when you're not doing anything. So this happened to me again, and I dropped down to 54 kg again, pretty skinny, but then also I was pretty lean at the same point because I gained a bit of muscle from this period here. So then in 2022, I tried to bulk again, but I wasn't consistent. I tried to bulk for like a month, but you can't really make that big of a change in 1 month. My goal in 2022 was to make, in Australia, there's athletics, right? So there's levels of athletics. So like you have your school athletics, and then the thing up from that is you have your zone athletics, and then the thing up from that is like regionals and then state. So zone is like in the US, I think it's like districts, like school districts. So yeah, I try to make like basically my district or my zone for athletics in one event called shot put, where it's like it's all in your shoulder. It's all based on like how strong your shoulders are and how strong your legs are. So I try to make zone in that because the year before that I made athletics for javelin, but COVID-19 the lockdown meant that I couldn't go to the actual carnival. So I wanted to beat that achievement. So I wanted to make zone for javelin. So I did this by training shoulders for literally 3 weeks, and then a common theme is you'll see here that I fell off after 3 weeks of training my shoulders for shot put. So I think I ended up getting pretty good. I got like third or fourth. No, definitely not third. I got fourth. I ended up beating someone. I ended up tying with someone that was like double my size, which felt pretty decent, but I still didn't make it. So, but here in 2022 is when I did something very stupid. After school, me and my mates in Australia, there's two big supermarkets, Coles and Woolies, or Coles and Woolworths, and then there's a third ranked like cheaper one called Aldi. So after school, me and my mates would go Woolworths and Aldi and just get like trash junk food, like multiple times a week. I'm talking 2 or 3 times a week. We would go to Woolworths and just get this like trash food. It'd be wasting money as well, like $5 every trip. And then the negative effects were that every single trip, I would also get my skin breaking out. I'd get acne. I'd look unhealthier. I'd get like a bit fatter. My face would get puffy. It was pretty bad. And then if I didn't bring money, if I forgot to bring money in the morning, I'd get my mate to shout me or buy me snacks every time. So it was pretty rough. I was getting fatter, ugly, and poorer all at the same time. At the time, I never looked fat, right? But I didn't look like fit. I didn't look as fit as I should for someone who was training as hard as I am. So this caused me to feel a lot worse because I was a guy who supposedly he's working out hard. I had that identity among my friends that as a guy who goes to the gym, but I was daily eating foods that were trash for me, and I was doing this with another guy who'd shout me the unhealthy food. Then in December 2022, so just to recap, in 2021, there was athletics until June, and then after that, it was after school food. Then in December 2023, I did the biggest bulk of my life. I'd have 1.5 liters of homemade chocolate milk a day, and this would be around 1,000 calories. And then when school started, I'd have junk food every single day after school. I think I'd go probably like a week at a time without eating any vegetables. Normally, I eat a good amount of fruit and veg, but this time I was just like, nah, it's not calorie dense enough. Let me just have all this junk food. And it showed, right? In football, I got a bit stronger, but I got way slower. And when pace is normally like something I'm strong at. And then my stamina was trash. My face got puffy and fatter. Again, I was never fat, but I didn't look like how I should have for how hard I was training. However, I got decently strong. Like I could bench a 40 kilo dumbbells for sets. And then my max on dumbbells or whatever was like 42 and a half for one or two like trash reps. But I was getting way too fat. When I sat down, I could feel the fat roll on the side of my stomach, like bunch up. One thing to clear up is I've never been fat. I'm close to probably 18 or 19% body fat, but I've never been proper like sumo wrestler, like American build fat. And so in June of 2023, I started eating normally again, which got me down around 2 or 3 kilograms very slowly. But I looked dial. I looked like, do you even lift? I was very skinny. Guys from school were asking, why'd you stop going gym? And then it was annoying just in general to have 2 years of progress or 2 or 3 years of progress escape you just by eating how you instinctively just want to eat. Then later in December 2023, I took healthy eating extremely seriously. I would only eat meat, fruit, veg, beans, eggs, and fats like oil and butter. Pretty much everything but junk food and grains. I felt amazing at this time. I looked very lean as well. My bodyweight training was going very well, with me reaching 27 pull ups at the peak, at my peak when I couldn't even do two at the start of my bodyweight training. It felt amazing. But now that I've achieved this period of like health, I want to go back to that period of like quickly just mass gaining, just trying to get big. I just want to try to do another slow bulk again. And then in the next video, which will be posted very soon, I'll talk about the steps that I'll implement to get there. So in summary, it's going to be just eating calorie dense snacks, eating less protein, doing more cardio, finding like good bulky meals. But in the video, I'll explain to you 5 more tips. And then in the video after that, I'll explain the mistakes I made in a lot of detail and what I should have done instead in that exact moment. What me in that exact moment at a younger age should have done to avoid making the mistakes that I did. So in summary, how did me going on this process of gaining weight make me feel? First of all, I saw that my work input of fitness was actually being rewarded because in your bulk, you'll see the greatest leap in your fitness if you're doing normal weights, as I was back then. You'll see the greatest increase in like how much progress you feel like you're doing in fitness because all your big lifts will go up, all your big three will go up. Every single lift that you have that is not body weight will go up. Bulking and cutting is where you'll feel the most progress when lifting. So that's why, if possible, I recommend you to, if you're not where you're at right now and you have the discipline and patience to do so, go on a slow cut or a slow bulk. Definitely don't go on a very quick like mini cut. I wouldn't recommend going on a mini cut. I wouldn't recommend going on a turbo like dirty bulk. But definitely if you have the option, try to go on a slow cut or a slow bulk because that's where you'll see a lot more progress in your pursuit of fitness. If you just want to be healthy and if you just want to work out just to like get rid of stress from like your life, if looking as good as possible is not your goal, then you don't have to do this. But if that is part of your goal, I would recommend you to go on a slow cut or a slow bulk depending on who you are. You probably should go on a slow bulk most of the time because the chances that you have enough muscle to cut down is slim. But If you are larger, definitely go on a slow cut. Another thing that I gained from this pursuit of fitness was I learned that if you just give me a goal and tell me to get to this goal, I can't do it unless you give me like very exact like guidelines. Like here I had the goal, I achieved like my goal to some extent. I gained 40 pounds, I gained 18 kilos. But did I do it in a way that made sense? Did I do it in the way that would have been most efficient for me? No. I out of this pretend this was 18. Out of this 18 kilos, I reckon 9 or 10 of that was fat. And then when I cut down a little bit, like 2 or 3 kilos, I'm 15 kilos heavier than I am now, and I gained 9 kilos of muscle, I reckon. But this whole process took me like 3 years. If I just did a slow, clean bulk for a year, I could have gotten easily 13 kilos. I could have gotten 13 kilos in a year and not had that much fat. This could have been like 9 and 4, like a 9 kilos muscle, 3 kilos fat. So that's another thing. If I set myself a goal, I have to give myself like specific parameters on how to get there. I can't just say have the goal of bulking up to like, let's say 180 pounds or what do you call it, 80 kilos. You can't just give me that goal. I have to have a goal, and then I have to have parameters around that goal or what I can do to get to that goal. So I should have been like, here's a list of like 20 foods that you should eat for most of your calories. Like that sounds extreme. I have a list of like not even 20. Let's say you have a list of 10 foods to get to your calories. That's what I should have been doing instead of just saying have this number goal. So I would recommend to myself, don't fixate on another goal. When I'm trying to bulk up again, my next bulk up, I only want to gain like 6 kilos. Or not, let's bump it up. I want to gain 8 kilos. I want to gain 8 kilos, but pretty slowly, like 1 kilo a month. And I think the way I'll do that is maintain my current diet. Literally just eat whatever foods I'm eating now, but just more like add a meal a day or add some calorie dense snacks. That's all I got. This was my full story of how I gained 18 kilos. It wasn't in the best way. And another thing that matters is I learned 2 very important lessons. So thanks for watching. Subscribe. And yeah, thanks for watching. Spud me.